Have you ever heard of a paradise that turned into a ghost town overnight? Welcome to the enigma that is Salton Riviera. Nestled in the heart of California, this once thriving resort town now stands as a desolate monument to human ambition and nature's unpredictability. In the mid-20th century, Salton Riviera was envisioned as a miracle in the desert, a luxurious haven for the rich and famous, away from the hustle and bustle of city life. It was a dream brought to life in the arid landscapes of the Colorado desert, a testament to mankind's ability to create something extraordinary out of nothing. Imagine pristine white sand beaches, sparkling blue waters, and state-of-the-art facilities, all set against the backdrop of an unspoiled wilderness. Salton Riviera was the epitome of luxury and exclusivity. But every paradise has a serpent, and Salton Riviera was no exception. The town, despite its initial success, was built on shaky foundations. It was a vision that relied heavily on the whim of nature and the continuous influx of wealth. And when these elements faltered, so did the dream. The resort town's downfall began with environmental issues, followed by economic challenges. The once glistening Salton Sea began to shrink, its waters turning salty and inhospitable. The beautiful beaches were replaced by fish bones and the smell of decay. The wealthy patrons, once attracted by the promise of a desert paradise, began to leave, their dream of a luxury getaway shattered by the harsh reality of nature's unpredictability. Today, Salton Riviera stands as an eerie testament to a failed dream. The grand resorts are now empty shells, the beaches deserted, and the streets silent. The town, once filled with laughter and life, is now a haunting reminder of the transient nature of success and the fickle hand of fate. The once bustling Riviera now stands as an eerie testament to human ambition and its unforeseen consequences. Imagine a place built with the promise of endless opulence and leisure. This was the vision for Salton Riviera, a dream born in the 1950s, a time of post-war prosperity and boundless optimism in America. Salton Riviera was more than just a dot on the map in Southern California. It was an idea, a grand plan, a place where the American dream could be lived out under the clear blue skies of the Golden State. The developers, visionaries in their own right, saw beyond the arid desert. They envisioned a fertile oasis, a Californian Riviera, where the sun would dance on the water's surface and the air would be filled with the laughter of those who would come to this paradise for rest and recreation. The 1950s were a time of economic boom. The war was over, and people were looking forward to brighter days. The developers seized this opportunity, promising a lifestyle of leisure and luxury to those willing to invest in this dream. They marketed Salton Riviera as the vacation spot of the future, a place where every day would feel like a holiday. And so, the dream took shape. The desert was transformed into a waterfront paradise, complete with palm-lined streets, luxury villas, and a marina where yachts would bob gently on the waves. The promise of the Salton Riviera was more than just a marketing gimmick. It was a symbol of the prosperity and ambition of the era. In a few short years, Salton Riviera grew from a mere concept to a bustling resort town. The population skyrocketed as people were drawn to the allure of the Californian Riviera. It was a testament to the power of a dream that turned the desert into a paradise. But as with all dreams, reality eventually sets in. The story of Salton Riviera is not just one of growth and prosperity, but also of downfall and abandonment. Yet, in the beginning, Salton Riviera was a beacon of hope and prosperity. The desert was transformed, and the dream of a Californian paradise seemed to be coming true. There was a time when the streets of Salton Riviera were filled with the laughter of vacationers. Imagine, if you will, an era when the Salton Riviera was not just a town, but a spectacle. This was the Riviera's golden era, the mid-20th century, when the promise of California's sunshine, combined with the allure of an inland sea, drew crowds by the thousands. The Riviera was a magnet for the rich and the famous. Hollywood stars would escape from the glaring lights of the city and retreat to the tranquil shores of the Salton Sea. Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, the Beach Boys, they all found solace and leisure in this desert oasis. But it wasn't just the celebrities who were drawn to the Riviera. Families flocked here too, lured by the promise of water skiing, fishing, and boating on the vast, glittering sea. The beaches were packed with sunbathers, the marinas filled with shiny new boats, and the air was filled with the scent of barbecued food and the sound of laughter. The Riviera was more than a resort. It was a dream made real. The facilities and attractions were second to none. Luxury hotels lined the seafront, their gleaming facades reflecting the brilliant California sun. Fine dining restaurants served up delectable cuisine, while cocktail bars hummed with the merry chatter of patrons. And then there were the attractions. The world's lowest golf course was here, a marvel of engineering that delighted golfers from around the globe. There was a yacht club too, a testament to the Riviera's status as a premier resort destination. But perhaps the most iconic symbol of the Riviera's golden era was the Salton Sea itself. Once hailed as the miracle in the desert, this vast inland sea was the heart and soul of the Riviera, a shimmering oasis that promised adventure, leisure, and the good life. The Riviera was shining, a jewel in the desert living its golden era. But what happens when paradise begins to crumble? Just as the Roman Empire fell to its own greatness, so did the Salton Riviera. The seeds of its downfall were sown in its own creation. In its heyday, the Salton Sea was a marvel of human engineering, a testament to our ability to shape the world around us. But nature has a way of reminding us of our place. The very same water that once lured thousands to its shores began to turn against the Riviera. The lake, artificially filled by an engineering mishap, began to flood. Homes, businesses, and dreams were washed away. The flood was just the first in a series of environmental calamities that would plague the resort town. Then, the pollution set in. The once crystal-clear waters turned murky, filled with agricultural runoff from the surrounding farmlands. This pollution led to an overgrowth of algae, turning the lake into a toxic soup. The fish began to die off, their rotting carcasses littering the shores and filling the air with an unbearable stench. The birds, once drawn to the lake by the thousands, began to disappear. Meanwhile, the lake's salinity kept increasing. The Salton Sea was already saltier than the ocean, but now it was becoming inhospitable even for the hardiest of species. This increasing salinity, coupled with the pollution and flooding, turned the once bustling resort town into a ghost town. The economic challenges were just as daunting. The decline in tourism led to a collapse in the local economy. Businesses closed, jobs were lost, and the real estate market crashed. The dream of a desert paradise was quickly becoming a distant memory. The residents, once proud pioneers of a new frontier, were now victims of their own hubris. The dream of taming the desert, of creating an oasis in the middle of nowhere, had turned into a nightmare. The dream was fading, and paradise was slowly turning into a nightmare. Now, the streets that once echoed with joy are filled with silence. The remnants of Salton Riviera's past glory are now shadows on deserted sidewalks, whispers in the wind, and echoes of laughter trapped within the walls of abandoned buildings. This once bustling resort town, nestled in the heart of California, is now a ghost town, a haunting reminder of a dream that could not withstand the test of time. The grandeur that once defined this town has faded, leaving behind only the skeletal remains of its luxurious past. The once vibrant streets, lined with palm trees and filled with the laughter of vacationers, are now vacant. The silence is deafening, the emptiness overwhelming. The air hangs heavy with the memories of a time when life was abundant here. The buildings, once the epitome of luxury and comfort, now stand vacant, their windows staring out into the desolation like the hollow eyes of a skull. The paint on the walls is chipped and faded, the roofs are caved in, and the doors hang off their hinges. Nature is slowly reclaiming what man has abandoned, and the buildings are succumbing to the relentless passage of time. The population has dwindled down to a handful of residents, the vestiges of a community that once thrived here. They live among the ruins, their lives a stark contrast to the opulence that once defined this town. They are the living ghosts of Salton Riviera, the last echoes of its past glory. But amidst the decay, there is a certain eerie beauty. The sunsets here are still as breathtaking as ever, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, casting long shadows across the desolate streets. The Salton Sea, despite its increasing salinity, continues to glisten under the California sun, a mirror reflecting the ghost town's melancholy. Salton Riviera, once a beacon of luxury, now stands as a ghost town. It is a monument to the ephemeral nature of dreams, a testament to the impermanence of human endeavor. But even in its abandonment, it continues to fascinate, to haunt, and to remind us of the fleeting beauty of human aspiration. Salton Riviera is a prime example of the rise and fall that comes with unchecked development. The town was birthed from a dream, a vision of a prosperous resort that would serve as an oasis in the California desert. However, this dream was built without consideration for the long-term sustainability of the environment. The result was a town that flourished for a time, but eventually fell into disrepair and abandonment. This serves as a stark lesson about the implications of unchecked development. When we build, when we create, we must consider not just the immediate benefits, but also the long-term impacts. We must ask ourselves, are we building for today, or are we building for tomorrow? The story of Salton Riviera tells us that a failure to plan for the future can lead to disaster. Another lesson we can draw from Salton Riviera is the transient nature of human endeavors. The town was once a bustling hub of activity, with people flocking from all over to enjoy its amenities. Yet today it stands as a ghost town, a shell of its former self. This serves as a reminder that all human creations, no matter how grand, are temporary. They rise, they fall, they change. They are subject to the whims of time and the forces of nature. Lastly, Salton Riviera teaches us about the consequences of environmental disregard. The town's downfall was largely due to ecological issues, such as the salinization of the Salton Sea and the subsequent loss of wildlife. This shows us the importance of respecting and preserving our natural environment. When we disregard the environment, we not only harm nature, but we also harm ourselves. The tale of Salton Riviera serves as a stark reminder of the impact of our ambitions on the world around us. It reminds us that progress should not come at the expense of sustainability, that human endeavors are fleeting, and that the environment is not just a resource, but a vital part of our world that must be protected and preserved. But what does the future hold for this ghost town in the desert? As we've journeyed through the past of Salton Riviera, this is the question that lingers. It's a question that stirs curiosity, and perhaps even a glimmer of hope. After all, Salton Riviera's story is not yet finished. The future of this abandoned resort town is shrouded in mystery, but it's not entirely bleak. There have been whisperings of a renaissance, a rebirth of the Salton Riviera, with potential plans for revitalization. Various projects are being proposed to restore the Salton Sea and its surrounding areas. One such initiative, the Salton Sea Restoration and Renewable Energy Initiative, aims to implement renewable energy projects and environmental restoration efforts. This could bring life back to the Salton Sea and, in turn, Salton Riviera. There are also artists and creative minds who see the abandoned buildings not as ruins, but as blank canvases. They see potential for the Riviera to become an artistic hub, a place where creativity can flourish amidst the remnants of the past. Despite these prospects, it's important to remember that any revitalization effort is a complex endeavor. It's not just about restoring buildings or cleaning up the environment, it's about breathing life into a community. The challenge lies in attracting new residents and visitors, creating sustainable industries, and ensuring that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. But perhaps that's what makes the future of Salton Riviera so intriguing. It's a story yet to be written. It's a place where the ghosts of the past meet the potential of the future. So, will Salton Riviera once again become a bustling resort town? Will it transform into an artistic haven? Or will it remain a ghost town, a haunting reminder of a paradise lost? Only time will tell if Salton Riviera will rise from its ashes or continue to be a haunting reminder of a paradise lost. Salton Riviera, a story of dreams, ambition, and downfall. Born from a vision of paradise in the desert, this resort town flourished in its golden era, promising a utopia where dreams could become reality. Yet the dream was not to last. A series of unfortunate events led to its downfall. transforming it into an eerie ghost town, a shell of its former glory. Salton Riviera is more than just an abandoned resort town. It's a poignant reminder of the impermanence of human endeavor. It represents the duality of ambition, the potential for both great success and profound failure. It's a testament to the vulnerability of our dreams and aspirations, and the stark reality that sometimes even the most well-intended plans can go awry. As we reflect on the story of Salton Riviera, we're reminded of the broader implications of our actions and the ripple effects they can have. Salton Riviera stands as a testament to our dreams and their consequences, a ghost town whispering a tale of paradise lost.